people have no music that is in coordination with their spirits. Because of this, the opportunity of the universe.
Down with the slackness, down for the cause if it would stop the whackness. Down with Isabella and further that conquest. Down with the gates and shit talking contests. Down with rappers' lies, acting like onsets. Falling on the stage, niggas down with the cross dress. Never down for the people but stand on their shoulders. Down with dirty moms and Jesuits like boulders. Down for the count, pull the fangs on the counter, punch him down his throat. Put on the yoke and watch it fall down from the top like a scapegoat. I self-law and master, not down with the great hope. If you wanna be down, you better lift yourself up like elevators down with locks and alien predators. I hope you get it. Step up, you know you're going down. Rappers fronting like an MC when he's really a clown. Yeah, Morris, Master MC. Yo, what up, Stevie Thunder? I hear you. I feel you. Morris, Master MC, flow fluent. In the language of hip-hop, international student. Life is the school. You might fool me once, never twice, cause on home court we have home rule. I might switch your face with the mic if cordless, more or less, most or less, more, therefore they're more or less, and far worse when most sit in a verse. In their big shades, t-shirt, skirt, and tablet purse. Frontin' the flow, niggas tongue dry like a corpse. Put rappers under such pressure, I'm watching them walk, watching them sweat beads like a Buddhist rosary. When I call out their jeans and check like hosiery, whirlpool flow. When I spit so rotary, have some Moors there to witness, no notary. Characterizing Moors active with roguery. When the real culprit's still heavy in potpourri. No, not cedar wood shavings with lemon balm leaf. Conscious cat blacks rap with tricks up their sleeve. I'm the golden era return that make them about turn, cause I'm blasting KRS loud. You must learn, but first unlearn. Put it out your memory. Would aggravated assault on a rapper be a felony? What about kidnapping a rapper, torture him after a while, shaking locks, more rasta with demonic laughter? Niggas so them bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so them bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so them bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so them bozos, they rhyming right, Negroes are mostly all heroes, full of self-righteousness, all ego. Most of these cats for deals back in the fudge. I won't budge, plus know it's dread when I judge. You say thou shalt not, that's your opinion. From Hitler is where universal got minions. Apply understanding of knowledge, gain wisdom. Hip-hop free minds in commercial rap prisons. Rapper is the CEO, labels the warden. A&R's a radio station, leaders getting their portion. To keep you sleep, by beats called trap, to beats by Dre. So it doesn't sound like many didn't learn from Shia Ali. Life is a strap or a movie. Spitting BS rhymes, you lose me and lost me. Rapping Microsofty. Can't beat a gun charge and can't beat a court fee. Niggas so them bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so them bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, them niggas so bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so them bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so bozos, they rhyming right, niggas so bozos, they rhyming right, ain't rhyming right, niggas so bozo, ain't rhyming right, they not rhyming right. Morris Master MC. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap. Yo, get it with this one. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap. Black inquisitor general, torture a rapping dummy. Wearing eyeshadow, piercing his tongue and tummy. Piercing their lips and wearing gay earrings, king. One was bad, but now y'all are killing the king. Some rappers taking it, some giving it, king. Just to have a whip and a mansion, be living it bling. Living it artificial, acting like clones. When I hit you by text, I don't mean by phones. Morris squad bomb rappers on tracks like drones. Like casual, I didn't mean to put bats to your dome. Splitting numbskulls, washing pea brains. Don't leave nails on fingers when I does it. Little chicken McNuggets, rapping meal toys. Got young gods clapping, leave you lip like steam back. Troy asking what's happened, like you didn't know or expect it. For talking that misleading trash on all your records. Morris MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. I rock too much truth and your feelings got hurt. You rapping early and burst on microphone masters. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap. Morris MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. I rock too much truth and your feelings got hurt. You rapping early and burst wearing skirts like clap your cuz. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap. There's nothing you homo rappers do that surprise me. Rapper inquisitor make you eat poison ivy. Trinbago hot sauce all in your eyes for burning. For not teaching on mics that for Masons they learning. Rap black Nazis and you're not even German. Rather rap heads with t-shirts than Morris turbans. Turning Heru logos to American Eagles. Gold loose rope chains. Only songs about cocaine. Cough syrup and liquor mix you whack DJs. Still stacks of vinyl crates if we play. Don't believe anything or follow what chiefs say. I study. Keep my album sides broken and some sides bloody. Burn rappers like crosses in front of your homes. Morris Ku Klux Klan and stomping on lawn gnomes. Throwing hip-hop award bricks through rappers' windows. Most hip-hop songs are just commercial jingles. Morris MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. I rock too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and burns on microphone masters. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap. Morris MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. I rock too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and burst wearing skirts like clap your cuz. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap.
It's like full-blown war in the get it wrong, we're coming full strong like the bit is on. Salute to the God at dawn, who they know like iron sheet, giving out the knowledge in the songs and in the streets to the ones that seek. Just the meek will inherit, truth I will ferret. Turn up my speakers little louder so you can hear it. Don't be fooled by my appearance, I am clearing up the record. No, we ain't finished yet. Slaughterhouse for these dummy rappers who ain't been a threat. I'm dumping all your records to the curb. I'm bringing back the classics. Give me J. Rue, that brass tag shit. Bumping MOP and that boot camp click. I'm crushing all you candy rappers. And yo, if seeing is believing, I ain't sure that none of you harder than my breakfast. Tea and crack.
Morris MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. I rock too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and burns on microphone masters. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap. Morris MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. I rock too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and burst wearing skirts like clap your cuz. I don't give a fuck about none of that rap. Woo! Hey, yo, Stevie, we got this. What more can I say? Much more, just listen. Spit like I'm pissing and elixir mixing. Morris Master MC, Mike Mysticism. 3 minds locked in a cryptic prison. I saw Venus, you homos, that's a sundial. No executive, let alone Ray Bay run the trial. Standing on the square, no diamond in the air with his hands. No paperwork costing him grands. No friend begging, just chest pegging. At 3:30, upside down, circle 7. Up the Nova cast, no hover mask on me. My Destiny's Child was Kelly Rowland, not me. Call her Beyonce. She was a babe once. Before you call it hate in your face, smoke from blunts filled with the marker. Not roll type of proper persona. Got 90% of minds in comas. Open up your mind, your third eye blind. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Open up your mind, your third eye blind. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Hey. Many times I said it, still gotta say it. I don't spit on mics for radio to play it. Not looking to do shows cause new bros wanna hear rap, anything whack or pseudo. Tight shirt, skinny jeans, artists, nothing baggy. I pass most that rap, I'm the microphone cabbie. Niggas want Scooby snack tracks, I'm not shabby. Only Moorish and 90s MCs make me happy. Build pyramids like Large Pro and Pappy. On the run, eating cocoa bread and veggie patties. Thinking about what Taj Bay said about Ali. Fix misconceptions, distorted perceptions. Warped views have minds caught screwed. Running from the sun, but tan beds could force use. Put a split in the illusion, quick and walk through. Put a split in the illusion, quick and talk through. Open up your mind, your third eye blind. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Open up your mind, your third eye blind. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. I talk to my ancestral celestial more crew. Bring back 90% mental space for you to exercise higher than electric wires. The self that's not lower, deceptive liars. Getting on microphones, spitting like retards. Lying like they got lines like runaway zebras. Got youths walking like they shit their trousers. Can't even run away acting like rebel rousers. High off the so-called weed, I call it push and waste some money. No seeds, man, you a dummy. Smoking your life away. Following Dunce Cap, whack rappers beefing over Biggie blood raps. On a bottleneck of liquor, they always sucking. Either with their boys or trannies with nuts tucked in. Hip-hop ain't old school, she's just a youngin'. Rap the preemie, stillborn gets all the loving. Thinking you got verses, save it for hearses. Commercial rap, deathbed on your night nurses. Pull the plug 1 and 2, not daylight. No need to get mad, I'm just doing a favor. Open up your mind, your third eye blind. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Open up your mind, your third eye blind. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes. Rappers like truth in those darkness rhymes.
Play my part in your kangaroo court. Treating me like a black man, so today I'm going to be a black man.
That's convicted road rage attacker Mark Char. He colored his face with a marker for his sentencing hearing today. The judge was not amused.
Char was convicted of attempted murder and assault for stabbing and slashing 3 people on the H1 freeway 3 years ago.
Our Lynn Kwana was in court as he threw a tantrum while the judge tried to sentence him for his crimes. Lynn?
Mark Char has already burned through a total of 12 attorneys over the course of years, causing trouble. Today, he took a new approach to gain sympathy and attention. It failed. Char colored his face with a black pen, saying he was being treated like a black man in court. Char was driving home to Eba Beach in 2016 when he started road raging other drivers, stabbing and slashing them. He was convicted of attempted murder and 2 counts of assault.
This was a case that you incited, that you provoked, that you almost killed an innocent motorist. No, it didn't happen that way. You cut off. The evidence showed, Mr. There was no evidence on my part. My lawyer failed to put in my video. He put no evidence on my behalf. None of my evidence was none of my evidence was submitted. Mr. Char, listen up.
Judge Todd Eden sentenced Char to life with the possibility of parole, 5 years for the second count and 1 year for the third, all to run concurrently. There are still issues of restitution, which he will be ordered to pay, but he'll have to have yet another attorney to help with those issues.
You want to be black, huh? You want to be black? You want to be black? That's what you like. That's what they like, being black. Never ever talk nationality. Always talk some BS about they're black. Let me get the stuff. Forgot about this one. Forgot about this one right here. Because playing. Let's just go to where we went. Let's go to where we went to say that we're Moors and we're not black. We came up with all of that black BS. Name it. We knew somebody who was inside of that stuff. And they came out like, that's some BS. It's all about we're Moors. So we'll go to civic lesson book number 1. Who are the Moorish Americans? Moors Order of the Round Table, Civic Science Heritage class. Moors defined, Brother Taj Tariq Bey. Moors, the descendants of the ancient Moabites, the true indigenous peoples who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern continents, lands of ancient Amexem, Al-Marak, now called the Americas, north, south, central, and the adjoining islands. Due to colonization, war, usurpation, usury, slavery, and massive book burnings, underlined, the true history of the Moors in northwestern and southwestern hemisphere was reconstructed and hidden. The most active period of reconstruction was from 1865 to 1877. A pre-1779 plan was mounted against the indigenous Moors. Plan was mounted against the indigenous Moors. The indigenous Moors. But the Moors that came over here, remember, we're 1996. And so this is how long Moors been saying we're indigenous. Documented. By who? Majority of Moors will say, oh yeah, I learned from him, whether he knew them or not. So he has rank in the Moorish community. 96. So all the chiefs, Indians, and whatever else is, where's their stuff? Copywritten by them, because they're Aboriginal in the Turtle Island or whatever like that. Stuff copywritten by them, not a language book that a European made for the Cherokee. The Cherokees having their own stuff that they can show you. The Moors have their own stuff that they can show you. So you have no question. Zero question, because everything's right. Here it is to show you. You don't need to ask me anything. If you don't get it after you go through this, then there's lesson book number 2. Keep going until you get it. You're not moving anywhere until we get it. That we're the true Aboriginal indigenous people and we're Moors. 96. Forget whoever has a YouTube page today telling you about some BS about our culture. They don't know jack about our culture. They just came yesterday. How are you conscious before them? And you're watching them like they're putting you onto something. Dumbass. 96, remember. So we're not talking some today stuff. This is not, oh yeah, On June 2019, Cujo did a class of, no, this is 96. This is 96 reference point. This is not now reference point. It was very interesting that 96 reference point still applies today because people are still dumbasses. Which, you know, they have a right. You know, everybody has a right to a nationality. Everybody has a right to be a dumbass. That's what they want to do. Hey, do your thing. Just don't bring your dumbassery around me. Because we're strict to the past. Like, we don't play around as Moors. We don't talk for anybody else and what they do in their whatever. I don't care how they dress up and line up 5 million people in the street. If they saying that they're black, they ain't doing nothing. What they just do? Line up in the street? All you guys? You have all these people and you guys never did anything? Where the hell are you people? How come we never seen any of these people ever until they line up in the street? Where y'all been? You hiding. Because the sellout is real. Everybody knows that we're Moors. And they're playing with you, make you think that you're not Moors, for you to be in the Cell movie running around the tower, just running around the tower. And in your mind, you think that you're living life or whatever, but you're actually one of these rats in the damn maze. Talking about rats in the maze when you're one. Moorish nationality is the disconnect from the quote-unquote matrix. Right, when you have the nationality, that's when you're Morpheus, Neo, Trinity, and all that. The two twins and, you know what I mean, whoever else, Keyman. Once you have nationality, then matrix ain't no big deal. But nationality better be that you're Moors or Moorish American. Indigenous to the Americas, not these people who they say Moors, and then people are looking across the Atlantic Ocean like, oh yeah, the Moors, they left this stuff there for the... No, we're talking about Moors on this side. Because remember, between 1865 and 1877, there was Reconstruction to a high level, the most active period. The most active period of Reconstruction from 1865 to 1877, 1285 to 1297 Moorish calendar, a pre-1779 plan was mounted against the indigenous Moors to bring about an artificially induced duplication of the Dark Ages of Europe. A plan was mounted against the indigenous Moors to bring about an artificially induced duplication of the Dark Ages of Europe. This fact is historically verified by the forced illiteracy of the defeated Moorish nation in America, laws against reading and education of Moors in general. So again, we could throw out little brother Yusuf, who'd been in their system as a Moor and had them weak. No miseducation of me. Like, I already know what's up coming in here. I just need the basics, filling these gaps at the bottom that I really don't get. But the high level stuff, don't even play around. Please don't play around. Because you guys already know you don't want my dad to come to school, the principal's office. You know you don't want him in here. Right? Youth man, knowing that he's a Moor, not playing with it, like actually knowing. Right? Reversed the forced illiteracy by knowing about nationality. And so as soon as he walks in the door,
No matter what they send, everything, the ping, 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 everything's just bouncing off him. Nothing is penetrating. Nothing. Just because he has nationality as a mindset, as a child. And we know that when it's so, hey, Umar was telling me, so I asked him, what color are you? Brown. You're brown, what do you mean? You're not black? Try to make the face and everything and like, no. What do you mean I'm black? Look at, I'm brown, right? Child knows this. So if you want, so once you get past what you look like, now, okay, now what are you now? Because he's not saying anything telling me you look like something. You look brown. Well, there's a whole lot of brown people over here. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Again, bringing in nationality. You have to have that. There's people play you like you're dumb, making you think that they're on some other side of something. Like, yeah, we're not done with any of that stuff over there because whatever, but they're calling you black. And they'll just slide Moors in there sometime, make you think, yes, yeah, they talked about the Moors, that means everything's cool. No, it doesn't. No, how come they're talking black? It means you're talking black still, and you know about Moors. You know about Moors and you're still talking black? That's either European psychology or insanity. Because again, we just read a paragraph. All we did was read a paragraph. Right? There's stuff in here that I didn't even touch. Because you know, we get into that we're for hours on a paragraph. That's how deep the Moorish science goes. That's how deep the Moorish science goes. This modern era of politically enforced ignorance, right? Just digest. Remember, this is 96. We're bringing it up to today because it still applies, because people are still playing around like they're everything but Moors, which is all right. You know what I mean? Like I said, they can play. This is whatever. But we know amongst all those dumbasses, there's some very intelligent, wise, spiritual, open-minded individuals who know something's wrong. And who knows, they might just be afraid to say something because they know all these people, as soon as they start talking against something that they think now they're going to jump on you and all that stuff. People using their, you know, certain powers to coerce people. The politically enforced ignorance. Right? Think about enforced. Think about enforced. Politically. Enforced politically. The only thing that can mean is the Christians versus the Moors. And again, on this side now, and having to make sure that there's no little Yusufs. Having them all be niggers. Pants down here. People aren't even telling them, hey, pull up your pants anymore. It's just the norm now. Like back in the day, we get the belt 1 little inch below the waistline. You're, hey, what are you doing here? You gotta put, hey, what are you trying to do? We can go 1 inch below the waistline. do you mean? All because of ignorance. And the people love it. Politically enforced ignorance. We shall call it the dark period. The people and their lands have been renamed or branded by Europeans, who also put their names on the enslaved Moors as a curse and a title of ownership. The people and their lands have been renamed or branded by Europeans, who also put their names on the enslaved Moors as a curse and a title of ownership. Right, so it's a curse for us to say that we're black people, because that's European. It's a curse to say that we're African. That's European. That's a brand. Moors is not a brand. That's a nation of people that had an empire that spanned the world. And everybody's down with it, but the people who are the heirs to the empire. Which is just, you know, that gives you the head blown emoji. The psychological war tactic worked to confuse the descendants of the Moorish tribes. So anybody who's saying that they're a tribe out there, if you don't put Moorish on it, you're some corporate BS. Because again, all those are brands by the European and sellouts among ourselves, who know that once you start saying Moors, now everybody has to be their own priest, and you don't need any of these people playing hierarchy with you. You ain't got to call no meeting to talk with the Grand Sheik or whatever. Yeah, the meeting book. What the hell do you mean he has a meeting book? What do you mean you can't just call up the Grand Sheik like, yo, what's good? Yo, I was thinking about this, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, well, you know, blah, blah, whatever. What do you mean you got to set up a meeting with the head guy? Only the people who are in the ranks of the, because, yeah, okay. They want everybody to be their own priest. Once you choose to be your own priest, then you realize that this is not about self. This is about nation. This is about, I'm one individual, but I'm part of something that spanned the globe, that everybody in the world knows about it. As soon as we come around, people already know what's up. Trust me, I know. I've had Hindus lose their selves because of locks. And they see a group of us or whatever, like, what the hell's going on? Like, you guys are back or something? Going nuts because of some locks. They realize we're not the black guys. You guys are the black guys. And that was before getting on more science. You knew something was up. We didn't know how to maneuver, because all we knew was black, African, Hebrew, Nuwapian, Nation Islam. Like, that's all we knew. We don't have any truth. All we had is splinters of what Noble Drew Ali taught. And we're looking at a splinter like, oh yeah, this splinter came from the, you don't even know where the hell that splinter came from. It's a goddamn splinter. Where's the actual thing that the splinter came from? Where's that? That's what we wanted to see. And we realized that we're Moors. That's the secret. But we heard about Moors, and Chancellor Williams talked about Moors, Dr. Ben talked about Moors, but how come ain't nobody tell us that was us or whatever? How come we didn't have the concept of Moor being our title of ownership, not black or Negro or African or Egyptian or whatever, not those stuff. How did those things become the thing that people gravitate to? And then Moor became something that is a fleeting illusion. But this is a reality. There are Moors calling me, telling me, whatever, I saw more today. You saw more today. Yeah, I was on the bus or whatever. I was just traveling and looked over, and then I just saw more. Just went around the corner. It's a reality. The psychological war tactic worked to confuse the descendants of the Moorish tribes in the Almorocs of self, nationality, names, birthright, heritage, sciences, and geography. A whole nation of people made to be the chattel property of the states, colonists, and their descendants, or the provinces, or the cities, or the municipalities. That's all colonial. That's all their jurisdiction. Because they and everybody else knows that the Moors are gonna be back. When, we don't know. Where, we don't know. But we know that they're gonna return. And we're the ones of those prophecies that have these colonists going nuts right now. They're not bothered by, the norm. Not bothered by the norm. They shut down somebody's YouTube or Facebook something, you think that they're special or something. They're nobody. They don't want them to do their whatever here. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the game. The infamous discovery of America, usurpation, in 1492, 912 Moorish calendar, in truth, is the literary signal referring to the turn of history. The signal marks the fall of the imperial Moorish Empire in the West in 1492. 1492 is the pivotal year of or axis for the division of ancient and modern history. This period of history marks the emergence of the new world of Christendom, European beginnings, forged into world political power. In spite of steadfast opposition by many Moorish regencies, the Albions were eventually granted a charter in 1781. The defeat of the Moors is celebrated today as the Thanksgiving holiday of Christendom. The true geographical location of nations and people have been fraudulently altered and changed. The Albion conquerors altered the old Moorish maps, changed longitudinal line degrees to land and time zones. Today, many miseducated people actually believe that the Almarak Americas and the adjoining islands are India, and that the Moorish tribes are Indians. This fictitious contemporary history is propagated to steal the birthrights from the descendants, underlined, of the conquered and enslaved Moors. Most are unaware of the truth about Reconstruction, the reconstruction of history and geography. And there's a lot there, but you can go back and go check. Now again, don't be fooled with how these people talk and think that they're on the side where you're at. No, they're still the great sellout. If they're not telling you about your Moorish history and your birthrights, they are probably a sellout. Because there's nothing else that our people need right now but to know about their nationality and birthrights and teach that to your children ASAP. And let them have the chance to do what we want to do. And we have this vision of we're going to do as the Moors and we're going to have the... That's the children's stuff that we're looking at, that stuff like, oh yeah, let's go to the dollhouse and play in the dollhouse and all this stuff. What are you talking about? Put on the childish stuff. Let's build so these youths could have something. The hell you want to get off of something for? You're not going to be here to benefit like that. If everything went in the Moors' hands right now, like 44, I got this. Like now I get to be a Moor? The hell? Give this up to somebody else anyways. Let them have triple what I should have. I need my little piece. And this empire. What the hell do I need the whole thing? What do I need the empire for? I need a little piece for, you know what I mean? In the Moors. Now the greatest Moors, we all just live together somewhere. Yeah, just like Black Wall Street and all this stuff. Just like, oh, I know what George said before the European came here. Started this madness. Remember, they went to the damn Kemet school. So they weren't a dumb caveman. They went to the Kemet school. Gratifying their lower self. Once you go obese, when you're actually obese, you ain't no coming back from that. Reconstructed, but it wasn't over. They thought they had this locked down. We killed all the animals. We cut down all the trees. We got chemtrails and all that stuff. We got HARP going. We got lead and everything. We got them eating out of pots that we spray with stuff to them. We got them thinking that everything's organic or whatever when there's absolutely nothing. Everything is genetically modified. They're still here? How come they're still here? How come you start panicking and it's now, getting hot and stuff like that, and 120 degrees in India and stuff like that. better have some melanin, and you better have taken care of that gift of having a hue that you got from your ancestors. Because people are getting it right now. Like places are flooded out. Friggin' places getting heated. Doesn't sound like revelations going on? No, not yet? Okay. Keep playing, you don't want nationality, so you can't see what's going on. They live shades. You gotta get those. You gotta put those on, see what the hell's going on around you. You're playing around. And in this box all the time. These conquered lands, Americas, are in truth the heartland of the Moroccan Empire. And that's what we're told. Given directly from Noble Drew Ali as a reference point. That there is such a thing called the Moroccan Empire. On this side, it's a real thing. It's not a fiction. People actually know this information. People know that the dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even onto the present North, South, Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. That's a reference point that we're given. The Moroccan Empire has a particular jurisdiction. Like just like the Great Seal that nobody talks about. This jurisdiction, this is why again, why they hated on CMB. Because forget his foot was in the door, he was in the building. The Europeans already went and gave him his offer. For people who don't know Charles Moseley Bay, CMB, Clock of Destiny, and all that. CMB got offered the deal, got offered the payout that all the other people got offered to sell out our people. And he was on the side of, this is not my stuff or whatever like that. This is the people's birthright. I'm just protecting it because I already know what's going on. And he was able to protect it to the point of putting it in the Library of Congress. Because of these people who were around that knew about the Moroccan Empire, but they already sold out, so they can't talk about it now. But then you have this one individual that's keeping stuff still going on. And more among him. But the mentality the mentality was that people, the people, are going to look at it as just some religious whatever and not even pay it any attention. They're going to just see that as, oh, yeah, Moors. Those are the Moors. They just dress up like Moors and they go to this place called Moor Science Temple and they sing hymns and they, you know, have meetings and they're in the community and they're just another organization. But that was nationhood. That was what all these people were supposed to be doing around them that claimed they were whatever. But how are you going to do that when their leader guy is one of the sellouts who took the payout? Then we have CMB who went put the stuff in the Library of Congress. So it's protected. Like meaning that the sellouts can't go, all they can do is move it around in there. They can't take that out because it's there, it's filed there. The Moroccan Empire. Not some African whatever, the Moroccan Empire. Right? That's why you have to ask yourself, when people say Morocco, and then you look, and then they're looking at some little country in Africa. But there's something called the empire that's Moroccan. You know that the Reconstruction worked. If people don't know that they're Moors, the Reconstruction worked. You get the fucking wiser hood. It's wake up time now though. And all these sellouts popping up were nuts.
Islam here, and guess what? We are discussing reparations and this entire circus that we have witnessed in the White House. Boy, I am so happy, and I'm going to rip this thing apart. Number one, let us get this out of the way and let us get the obvious out of the way. Number one, Caucasian people, white people, whatever you wish to call yourselves. Yes, you currently living today.
Now keep in mind, this is white people, right? Keep it just keep that in mind. That you refer to them, European, white, doesn't matter what you call yourself or whatever like that. Right? Just remember, white people
are not responsible for the atrocities that were pushed upon my people and the original people of the planet Earth back then during slavery. Yes, you absolutely in no way, shape, or form were involved. However, you are tasting and basking in the spoils of war. You received the booty, the treasure, the prize. You are the ones benefiting from all of this. You have privilege. Your credit score was probably at a 755 or 800 from birth.
now, when you understand that white is a status and not a complexion, there's people who are quote unquote from African countries that come over here and they got a 700 score because their status is white. And they're not over here talking about color, put a marker, color themselves black, say, oh yeah, black guy, give me the black benefits. You know, there's no benefit to being black. Zero. With the exception of Mustafa Hefni, punk ass Mustafa Hefni, who wanted the dead status as his status opposed to the in full life status that he was granted from birth. With the exception of that sellout. You look around at these people who come from those countries and other countries, then how come their stuff is good as soon as they get here? Or how come maybe 2 years tops and they're straight after 2 years? You just came here. How you learn to speak English so fast? I mean, even 2 years and you're driving Uber and you're driving Lyft and you're driving the other one. The hell do you mean? Because they took on the status of white. So they got their 700 score credit, 800, whatever. Remember, that's because of the white status.
inherited all of these magnificent things, and we inherited all of the negative things. So we have inherited all of the pain, the anguish, the low level of economics, and the low level of education, some of the worst food, some of the worst cities and towns and dilapidated areas, and you have inherited all of the great, magnificent things for the majority, because yes, there are some white people living in a impoverished state and condition. However, that is not of my damn concern. And yet,
Right. And remember, this is how the black guys dance around. This is how the black guys dance around. Because they know that the Reconstruction worked. You got these lessons. They know what's up. They know that we're Moors and all that. They know that. Notice all the things that were opposite of the white privilege. Dilapidated this, messed up that. All this negative stuff. Then when you look at Black in dictionaries, all this negative stuff. So then, why are you mad? Our people put it on themselves. The Reconstruction worked so well that our people enslaved themselves mentally. Because they've been led by the leadership to a position of always being in servitude. If it's not to the European, it's going to be to your brother. It's in you to be a mental slave. And not activate the higher self in man. So you can get rid of the disorientation and the instability. So you can get rid of that.
yes, not every single one of our people are the absolute descendants of slaves. Absolutely, I understand that. However, even for us to explain something like this is ridiculous, because everyone else who has received reparations, upon which I'm going to go through an entire list of these people, have never had to explain anything. They simply have had to show that, guess what? I was dealt a wrong, and I must have that repair. Very simple. Oh, Senator Devil Mitch McConnell. And yes, I said devil. And if you are someone who cringes at when a black man calls a absolute devil person who demonstrates devilish, wicked behavior, then you have to check.
No, it's devilish, wickish behavior to call your people black. It's devilish behavior to know the truth about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Go to different Moors and stuff like that, have meetings with them, have your nationality card, you're straight, and you're not telling these people that they're Moors too. That's devilish. What's devilish is using the people's ignorance. Using the people's ignorance to keep them in ignorance. That's devilish. You know what's devilish? You know what's lower self? Knowing that you're Allah in man and you're calling yourself black. That's devilish. The dark period, the period of ignorance is still upon us, but only with those who don't have the light. And the light is your nationality. This is why everybody else was able to get reparations. They weren't playing, they were yellow people or orange, pink people. They had nationality. So they got their reward. Because they, like you were saying, they get wronged and then they're able to get reparations. How? Because they have a nationality, and our people don't. And they're gonna go try and go get something as blacks, as slaves, when that's Slavic, which means that you're perpetrating a fraud. Straight fronting. Because if you're a slave and you want reparations, what are you doing in America? Why don't you go back to which one is it? Is it Yugoslavia or Slovakia, or where exactly are you going to? Because you look like Moors in America, but you want to be slaves? Okay, fine. Where exactly are you expecting us to send this check for your reparations? In America? Oh no, sorry, no, the deal doesn't work like that. You have to be in your land. You have to be in your land. And oh yeah, Slavs already got their reparations, so sorry. Yeah, but if you're a slave, that means you're Slavic. So, they still play. Oh, they're still playing.
Your damn emotions. This individual, who was very special, stated that we don't know who to give reparations to, and I don't think it's a good idea to give reparations to people, even though we were not alive at that time, and no one living today was alive during that time. I find that very interesting, highly dismissive, highly disrespectful, hurtful, but then again, what else can you expect from an actual devil? Who is again making these statements from the comfort of his own privilege? Oh, let us start it off this way, Mr. Mitch McConnell, seeing how you made the statement that no one alive today was involved in the enslavement of African Americans or during the suffrage of black people in America.
The European ain't lying. The reason why you talk crazy is because that's the truth. What some Europeans today have to do with our ancestors being in slavery or whatever? Well, they're benefiting from the whatever. Okay, well, we were Moors. How come we're not benefiting from? Oh yeah, because reconstructed history, and we've been dumbasses thinking that we're Negro black colored and that we're gonna get something because civil rights and rights are civil, so we're gonna get some rights once these people sign the act for us to have some rights, and then, you know, Scotiabank's not gonna come and take over all of our stuff because, you know, we have these guys on the board that's gonna help with the whatever. When everybody's stateless. Everybody's stateless trying to make a point. You're stateless. That boy said, you're cardboard. What do you mean? What do you mean get something? I mean, we have a long list of people who got reparations. How come we can't get something yet? Now, if you would look it up, you realize that there's no such thing as reparations. It's a reparation. There's absolutely nothing called reparations. Only dumb Negroes call it that. Right? Wiki. You're talking about slavery, so you get reparations. But Merriam-Webster says reparation. So every time they say reparations, are they talking about something, or are they just talking BS? If reparations mean repairing, then they want reparations. There's no such thing defined called reparations. And the economists and the Everybody, politicians, the news people, everybody's talking about reparations. Oh yeah, we want reparations. The fake people want some fake repairing stuff. And then when they get nothing, they'll be mad at that they got nothing. Well, you're asking for nothing. There's nothing called reparations for slavery. That doesn't exist as a defined term in any law dictionary. Reparation, that's a whole different thing. Let's go look it up.
Let us go ahead and make it very clear. There were at least 250 years of slavery, at least 90 years of Jim Crow, and at least 60 years of separate but equal. And from my understanding, you were born in 1942, and the civil rights legislation did not pass until 1965. So during Jim Crow, you were alive for at least 23 years, so knock it off. And interestingly enough, you have the audacity to make such an asinine, idiotic statement from within the walls or the confines of the White House, which was built by slaves, and you are still using that magnificent edifice. So are you going to give that back to us? The banks, Mr. Mitch McConnell, had.
Again, why would they give you back the White House? If Benjamin Banneker, the Moor, designed Washington, how the hell would they give a Negro, nigger, black guy back the White House? When a Moor, that they have his fez in Washington, D.C., glass case with all the fezzes in there, and Benjamin Banneker Bay, who they say Benjamin Banneker, the mathematician, almanac black guy they talk about. No, he was an almanac black guy. He was a Moor. They had his fez. Now, listen. Remember, always remember, that the truth about Noble Drew Ali and what he presented and the impact that it had, like, pretty much changed the whole way of how Europeans are going to deal with the Moors. Because a lot of it was them having jurisdiction is why they were able to do whatever. And the best way to have jurisdiction is have you go in it for them. All they have to do is just put the fountains there. They don't have to say you have to go to whatever. The slaves will build a back door for them to enter the house instead of using the front door. Because all of them are trained. The European is trained to stay in his lane. You're European. Only reason that they're benefiting from what their ancestors did, because we were dumbasses. If we weren't dumbasses, they wouldn't be benefiting anything. Because all those seats would be our seats that they're in. All those head of this company, head of that company, that, interestingly enough, have supreme jurisdiction over our people. Whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's sports or whether it's education or whatever like that. The European always has their hand in there, and they're the top. They're the head of the hierarchy, and then all the Negroes think that they got something that's theirs because they got some kente cloth that's their culture. Everybody's been duped because of the Reconstruction, which again, why the importance of people realizing that us being Moors means that the time of enlightenment is here again. The time of not being their Negro slave and being yourself on the level that you know who you are. Not guessing who you are. You actually know who you are. International law, cases and commentary. Mark W. Janis, John E. Noyes. Reparation, right? Reparation. Reparation. Any reparations around here anywhere? Oh, issue of reparation, right? Okay. So people are talking BS that they want reparations. Talking crazy. And again, I was talking crazy until you go look it up. You realize, hold on a second, I'm talking crazy. You know such thing as reparations? Every breach of a state's legal obligations gives rise to a duty to make full reparation. Reparation may take the form alternatively or in combination of restitution, compensation, or satisfaction. So these people are getting nothing. All of the blowing hot air, talking crazy, talking super crazy. Talking super crazy. And we know that people know who the Moors are. Even Hotep Jesus knows who the Moors are. And knows the word melanin dominant and all that stuff. Where's the stuff again? Dormant, shallow, and passive thinking cultivates a dormant, shallow, and passive and low-cultured people. This is why emotionalism, placationism, and agitating rhetoric is promoted, distributed and substituted for factual and objective information among subjugated peoples by occupational and de facto governments. Read and free the mind. Reclaim the reasoning power given to all humans by the Creator for yourself, protection, and preservation. The physical can never supersede or expand beyond the metaphysical or spirit plane. This fact is known to industrialists and to governments and can be applied to the positive development of a society or to the negative underdevelopment of a people through disingenuous governing. The callous and negative misuse of this knowledge is the committed policy of the past and present Union of States, colonial government, as well as the sellouts who work for them. As a social caste engineering tool, such knowledge is used effectively to the disadvantage of Moors branded as blacks by the de facto colonial governing officials and their franchised and licensed industrialists. Misinformation is structured into all their social and teaching institutions and coded into their sub-government agencies by firm policy. Moors branded as blacks must prepare for very serious and ongoing civic studies in all our communities. Moors branded as blacks must prepare for very serious and ongoing, very serious and ongoing civic studies in our communities. Some permanent adjustments are going to be needed to cultivate the minds of our children with knowledge. We must begin taking on the responsibility of teaching our own children. We must begin taking on the responsibility of teaching our own children. It didn't say don't send them to school, and didn't say that, don't, whatever. That you have an obligation to teach your children. Forget what other people are going to teach them. What have you taught them? Don't worry about what they're going to go learn in the brainwash camp of the colonial or whatever, because you're going to send them there anyways. What are you teaching them though? Just let them go in there like a dumbass with misinformation? Or are you going to school them with the maxims of truth so when they go in there, these people have no chance to try to take their mind from them? Some permanent adjustments are going to be needed to cultivate the minds of our children with knowledge. We must begin taking on the responsibility of teaching our children. If we do not, we mutually submit to their mental warfare and directed at our progeny. Intelligence clearly gives insight on the consequences on any passive or irrational inactivity in our part, as far as the Moors. Any type of passive and irrational activity is supposed to be avoided by Moors. A timeless, worthy, and application quote was made by Noble Drew Ali, Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, over 70 years ago. I find that it still applies to the suppressed and oppressed Moors now as much or more than it did when he spoke to them. In order to change the people, you must change their literature. Peace and love, Moors. Islam to all. Make sure that you get your study on. Hit up that rvbaypublications.com. Don't forget, even though you could probably get a half hour of it still, but get more than that. 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751. 425-569-5201. blogtalkradio.com/MHHS-Eyes Wide Open. Class started at 7:30. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. I want to say Islam to all. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Give high praises to Allah for sending us a prophet and sending us a forerunner and keeping us close and connected to the ancestors. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all. Oh yeah, and don't forget, in order to change the people, you must change their literature. Khalifa Media khalifamedia.com. khalifamedia.com. Don't forget that one. khalifamedia.com. And don't forget, no more daily merchandise.com. No more daily, MOOR, more. No more daily merchandise. Get your Islam hats. We got ours at the temple. The Moors are looking, but they're going fast. See, Moor already got his one. Moor wasn't playing. Peace and love, Moors. To all Moors, Islam.